For a full listing of tryouts and to learn more about USA Prime Prodigy, check them out on Facebook at Lincoln Prodigy Baseball or at LincolnProdigyBaseball.com. USA Prime Prodigy is excited to announce the tryouts for the upcoming season. Prodigy Baseball is where players in Lincoln go to receive player development, a competitive tournament schedule, and incredible family atmosphere. USA Prime Prodigy will be hosting tryouts July 14th through the 16th at 6 p.m. at Optimus Sports Complex for ages 7 to 14. Jalen Wordley, Caleb Clark, and Mason McConaughey from Husker Baseball will be there to sign autographs and talk to the youth. Tryouts start on July 14th at 6 p.m. Learn more at LincolnProductBaseball.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Old School with DP and J.
And Todd Bowles, I'm going to tell you this, DP, his voice does not match his body type.
That's what I'm saying. He's never, I don't know how you can be led by Todd Bowles' voice.
That's a fireable offense anyway.
Like his facial expression is top notch. Then his voice, because it's literally you're there expecting. It's like Mike Tyson.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour
with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Tick Weeknights. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos behind the board at 1040 O Street on the corner. If you guys want to join in, as well have DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Use the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Always a great way to join the conversation. You can also do so through the streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Allo, Channel 961. Always a good way to put a face to the voice. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring him in. DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going on this Monday night, man?
It's going well, enjoying the weather. Glad it's not, flooding or raining or anything.
Yeah, the weather's nice. I went outside. The ground wasn't saturated. It was actually dry. It was a good start to the morning. But how's the fourth weekend for you?
Wasn't too bad. Was out with my daughter. She loved lighting fireworks off and everything like that. So it was fun seeing her lighting them and taking off running.
All fingers intact, no accidents there, I assume?
No accident. Everything was good.
Yeah, that's always a win. I only talk that way because when I was younger, I might have been the one responsible for nearly lighting an entire tree line on fire because I didn't set up the firework properly. So it's always good when you get away from the fourth weekend and no bad accidents happen. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk, first things first, about some NBA because I'll be honest, DeMornay Pierson-El, my Chicago Bulls have just not, they haven't been doing well with the assets they had. I talked about this earlier. DeMar DeRozan, one of the biggest trade assets they had, they move him on. Sacramento Kings get DeMar DeRozan, and this was part of a three-team sign and trade. San Antonio Spurs get Harrison Barnes and a 2031 pickup swap from Sacramento. In the Chicago Bulls, out of all of it, they get Chris Duarte and 2 future second-round picks from Sacramento and some cash considerations to make it all better. Your thoughts on the Chicago Bulls trading DeMar DeRozan through a three-team sign and trade?
What are they doing? What? Like, you didn't make a splash at all. Like, it's just, again, I don't know. They might have something up their sleeve or something, but that doesn't help their cause, I don't think, from the outside looking in. And I lost that words to trying to figure out, okay, well, what are you trying to do now, or what do you want to do now?
It's a great question. That was one of their best assets. Now they're sitting with Zach LaVine being one of their, the only real star left that they can try to trade for some real value, but that stalled out. Zach LaVine, surprisingly, seems to be one of those players that I shouldn't say super teams, these teams contending for a title, they already kind of got their Zach LaVine. So there's not a lot of teams left for that kind of contract as well. All these teams that feel like they're in contention for a finals already are pretty close to that second tax apron. They don't have a lot of wiggle room left. So now with Zach LaVine, you are looking at a bunch of teams that only have to offer cash considerations and future round picks, very much so like what they got for DeMar DeRozan. They've kind of put themselves in a corner here where the teams left that have cap space that want to make this move. You might find one that's desperate enough that's willing to just pay crazy in salary tax or luxury tax, but that's kind of the market that's left because you dragged your feet on long enough. You couldn't get rid of Zach LaVine. Then you get through DeMar DeRozan, and all you're getting back is Chris Duarte and 2 future second-round picks for the best Chicago Bulls player we've had past few years. You can say what you want about Zach LaVine, the stats match, but the winning really didn't start until DeMar DeRozan was over here and you got some pieces around him. But yeah, I don't know what's left for the Chicago Bulls. I think I've said it before, but this might be one of the worst teams in the East now. Heading into next year, I don't know what they have. You're banking on guys like Josh Giddey to have an impactful season, even though this is the year of Ball supposedly coming back. So get 2 in the same players there. Realistically, is this team even a playoff team next year? Just based on what they have, even if they manage to keep Zach LaVine.
No. If anything, you should have kept DeMar and built around him I mean, and try and move, Levine as early as you could. I mean, Levine was good, but he's not anywhere where he was at 3-4 years ago. At least, DeMar gave you a chance. He was a championship caliber type player. He's a superstar. He's an all-star. There was a lot of left on the table that you still could have done with him, and the fact that you traded him and didn't really make a splash. I mean, 2 second rounds. That's not real. That's not helping your team. So I mean, at this point, I don't think they're going to probably move on from Levine because the market isn't heavy for what he brings to the table or what he's done. It's more so of if we kind of want him and get him, but he's not, a guy that they can bring in or a team that can bring in that can change anything. So Levine will probably be there for this year, and who knows what they will have. But a playoff team, absolutely not. No, I don't see it.
Yeah, since we're on it, let's just keep talking more woes. More Chicago Bulls trading woes. It just feels like their GMs, their management, their ownership right now is just kind of getting abused in terms of talking conversations and trying to get their team in the best position. Another place where this fell apart for them this offseason. This was on a report. This one's from Chris Haynes. I was told the Chicago Bulls were trying to get something going with the Golden State Warriors, trying to get Zach LaVine packaged together. Said they would get Zach LaVine for Chris Paul or Andrew Wiggins, just for the Warriors to waive Chris Paul shortly after. So they took nothing. You basically had an opportunity right there. You couldn't make it lucrative enough. You couldn't sell it enough. And then instead, they would just decide to go ahead and waive Chris Paul and get nothing in return. I mean, it's just been a little bit of mockery. I'm sure just looking at the Bulls and how much they've failed at trying to put some of these packages together as that one real chance to get some superstar talent. I mean, Chris Paul could have been a great fit for the Chicago Bulls. Chris Paul, much better being down with the San Antonio Spurs. I think he can be much more effective there, but what would Chris Paul look on the Bulls? I mean, is that a big whiff? Should the Bulls worked harder to try to put a deal like that together, or even a guy like Andrew Wiggins? That was the other one they were trying to get over there.
That's kind of hard with, money and everything they're invested in ball. So I don't love it. If it would have happened, I think they still would have been in a better position, depending what you would have done with DeMar. If DeMar was still there, him and Chris Paul, I would have liked that. Front court stuff a little bit more because, that takes a lot of load off of creating and starting stuff that DeMar would have probably had to do. If you'd have kept DeMar there with Wiggins or whatnot, that still would have been a little bit better, but just flat out Chris Paul on his own and not really no help. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think if they would have landed it, you probably wouldn't have seen DeMar go anywhere, just because of that you're already, a little bit more competitive team. Chris, he's proven to better the teams around him. So I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to get that done or situated. Chris Paul is good either way off. You're going into a system type of organization where they're going to play fundamentally basketball, and I think that's kind of what he brings to the table. And he got a nice contract to go, so he's probably not mad or upset.
Oh yeah.
But they just that's just bad. That's just pissing down your leg. That's just bad management, bad opportunities, not seizing things or whatnot. It always seems like they're swinging before the ball actually reaches the plate.
Yeah, I like to call it new GM syndrome, where the Bulls actually felt like they took it and they mastered it. When they get new GMs in place, they actually did a pretty good job. They got DeMar DeRozan, despite a lot of people saying this is a massive failure. Typically, it's the first move that makes you regret the hiring. Usually, it's pretty rare where it's later on. But the Valanciunas, extending him, this DeMar DeRozan trade, the Alex Caruso, getting rid of him for Josh Giddey. The team that could have been in place, hell, even if you don't want Chris Paul, give you Andrew Wiggins. You could have had Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Andrew Wiggins, DeMar DeRozan, whatever you want to get for Zach LaVine, or try your best to keep him there. That team that I just mentioned is going to get a hell of a lot more wins than Josh Giddey, Chris Duarte, Zach LaVine, and whatever else, Valanciunas, whatever else you want to try to throw around him. But just that roster construction right there doesn't feel like a whole lot of wins. So unfortunately for the Bulls, we did over-unders with NBA before. If I had just take a wild stab at it, the NBA Bulls, Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference are going to take a significant bounce swing. And that says a lot because last year wasn't very exciting for them as a whole, but that's just where they're at. Definitely entering a rebuild, although I will say it's kind of sloppy rebuild. Cash considerations, Quist Duarte, and a couple of second-round picks for DeMar DeRozan, that's not enough. That's not enough for what you need to actually build this program, this franchise, and try to flip it around. But let's talk about a winner in this whole thing. The Sacramento Kings. They now sit there with Domantas Sabonis, Malik Monk, who doesn't get talked about enough. They got Kevin Huerta as well. De'Aaron Fox, who's really starting to come alive. They got JaVale McGee. I think he's just underrated, a cheap big that you can play. And now you throw in DeMar DeRozan. The Sacramento Kings 2 years ago were the number one offense, and now they get a real fourth quarter leader in DeMar DeRozan. How scared should the rest of the league be of the Sacramento Kings? Because that team to me seems like they can make another team that can make a legitimate finals push.
They should be put on notice. I think that is a playoff quality team. I mean, they've shown it necessarily without the veteran leadership, a bunch of young, hungry guys, and you throw DeMar into that. I only think he's going to help, everybody around him take a little bit of the load off of things or manage the situations a little bit better. I think, that's great by, that organization to kind of get things done like that. Just a veteran presence around a bunch of, I wouldn't say unexperienced guys, but, a bunch of young guys who necessarily haven't been where he's trying to go or trying to get to where, DeMar has been or whatnot. They've had success. They were an exciting team a year ago. The purple light beam thing was going for Sacramento. Again, they were a playoff contending team, and they took, the Warriors. I think it was to Game 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. I think it was 6 or 7. They pushed them, though. I know it was a tight series.
Yeah, so, I mean, this past year wasn't necessarily replicated as much, but, I mean, it was still there. So, again, that Western Conference is stacked. I mean, from Seattle, and I know Seattle don't even got a team, but from Seattle all the way down to Arizona, I mean, it's, or Texas, or however you want to put it, from the Midwestern front, Minnesota, the Mavs, it's going to be a gauntlet week in and week out, whoever you're going to face, because they got pretty stacked teams all across the board.
Yeah, and I do remember the 2 years ago, the Sacramento Kings, that's when they made a deep run, and then this last season they whooped on the Warriors it was a play-in game. They just absolutely, I think they beat them by over 15 points. Was not quite a close one, but yeah, the Kings. The only bad part is they're in the West. I think one of these times, one of these superstars needs to head to the East here. The West cannot get any better. I mean, it's like 1 through 11. All of these teams have a legitimate argument for why they can win 50-plus games. That's just how insane the West is. Like, it makes a lot more sense now why Paul George might head over to a team in the Eastern Conference of the Philadelphia 76ers, because in the East, we're looking at the Celtics, maybe the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks, does that team feel like one that's lost a little bit of their window? I get it with Giannis. He's still a great player, but to me, it feels like they've really lost their opportunity. They almost took it for granted a little bit. Obviously, we've talked about the firing with Budenholzer. Some of the roster rotations they made, they still got Giannis on the end of the bench there. But it feels like they kind of had this window to dominate and take over in the East, and they let it completely slip by. Is the time already kind of coming to the end for the Milwaukee Bucks? Because even with a healthy Giannis, I don't think they beat the Celtics team. I think they've already surpassed them.
I don't think it's past their time. I think you brought Dame in there, and there's still something the whole all season to kind of see what they did wrong and fix things. I think this upcoming year needs to be significantly better than what they showed in the short amount of time of being there. Doc needs to figure it out. You have a whole off season that kind of rebuild and revamp and kind of revisit things versus, just throwing things at the wall and hoping that they stick. So, they need to come out strong. I don't think it's over unless they come out kind of doing the same thing as they did last year, and things are just not connecting. And then I think, they might actually be in trouble with a lot of things. they have potential to climb the ladder or whatnot. It's still there. It's still early, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Doc's been around. He's had Hall of Famers. He's a championship coach. During the season, he's typically fine. So let's just say hopefully he gets it together, and then we'll see how they stack up against the rest of the East. But if it doesn't look good, then I think they might be in a same situation of what they were this year, where somebody gets fired or they're trading somebody and kind of going a different route.
Yeah, I think their roster was unique. The fact that they already had a bunch of old guys when they finally got their first one. And I understand having to move some of those pieces around. Chris Middleton not being healthy was just a massive part of it. So I think he's just not one of those players, along with the Mike Conleys of the world, just criminally not talked about enough, maybe because their game isn't super flashy, but consistently gets it done. The Celtics just scare the living hell out of me if I'm any team in the East. Like, I just don't see another team coming close, because even if someone on that Celtics team gets hurt, aka Kristaps Porzingis, doesn't seem to really faze them too much. They got enough guys that can do so much damage to you. You don't have a single guy on your, say you got a Luka who's not good on defense. You can't hide him. And that goes for any player who's not very good on defense. When you play the Boston Celtics, they will get exposed pretty damn consistently. Go ahead.
I don't know. If I'm Boston, honestly, the two teams that might, that make me nervous, I'd say, would be the Knicks, just because of how things are, and depending what they do with Randall or whatnot. I don't think they'll let him go, but I mean, we could see him move on. Mm-hmm. And the Heat, like I said, the Heat with a healthy Jimmy, they have Boston's number for whatever it is. So with Spoelstra down there and whatnot, like I said, I think the Celtics got off easy with winning this title, or getting to the finals and everything like that. But like I said, the two teams that make me nervous if I'm Boston is definitely the Heat, just because for whatever they got down there, that group of guys, along with a healthy Jimmy, always gives them a run for their money. It's always a competitive game. Around playoff time is different. So them, and like I said, I mean, the New York team, they put in pretty much the national championship Villanova team. Those guys have chemistry and whatnot. They're going to be another piece. I'm not too sure about the 76ers, but I don't think it'll be as easy and dominant, or how things was for the Celtics that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I would like to pick the 76ers, but I've had this problem just picking these teams that are supposed to have defensive prominence just based on the guys they have. When I watched the Clippers, what was so disappointing is, like, this team is built to be defensively dominant. Someone have a defensive dominant game. Like, you can never just leave one game without looking at a Kawhi Leonard, a Paul George. I didn't even care. Give me Zubac, somebody. I couldn't look at one of those guys and say, you know what? Defensively, they dominated that game. Start to finish, they dominated. They could not get past Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, whoever you want it to be. And every game they left just defensively, like, yeah, they played pretty okay defensively. Offensively, nobody was expecting that team to be the best. Defensively is where it was going to matter. And they just looked kind of average throughout the playoffs. So when I look at the 76ers, that's my exact same fear is, if you are not the best defensive team when playing the Boston Celtics, you're going to lose all 4 games, because you're certainly not a better offensive team. So you better be putting 100% in the defensive side of the court. I don't care who it is. If it has to be Joel Embiid, if it has to be Paul George, you got some other good defensive pieces on that roster. Someone needs to find a way to really take over and be impactful the same way you can see an Alex Caruso, a Drew Holiday, what Mike Conley did for the Timberwolves and how they beat the Nuggets. Like, somebody has to kind of wake that team up and be that enforcer. They just didn't have that. So as much as I want to put faith in the 76ers defense, I'm with you in the fact that I just don't see it. Celtics, they lost 21, max 22 games, counting the playoffs, and they're getting everybody back, and now they're all paid. They're all happy. That sounds like just a recipe for disaster for most of those Eastern Conference teams. The Knicks, they might have enough depth to actually deal with it. But again, that's got to be a healthy Knicks team, like you said. Everybody else in the East, good luck. And that's including the Bucks. The Miami Heat, I think they can scare teams, but I don't know if they can consistently beat a team that we saw last year in the Boston Celtics. But you mentioned Jimmy Butler. Before we talk a little bit Summer League, because yes, we will get into that. Who is the most feared player in the NBA today? The same way players feared Kobe Bryant, if we're going to use that measurement. Is it Jimmy Butler?
Oh.
It might be Jokic, just because the fact that he doesn't talk. He just kind of has that Tim Duncan I'm better than you trash talk.
I don't think people necessarily fear him. I know they respect him, and they kind of just like they don't really necessarily mess with him.
That's good.
They don't really, they don't really get in his face or really try and piss him off. It's kind of a respect type of thing.
It feels like Jimmy to me. You could even make an argument that Ja Morant, just because what he can do to you on a highlight reel is pretty demoralizing. Anthony Edwards as a young new guy trying to expose you as well.
I would say those three guys that you kind of said definitely, they're definitely in the run for it. I'm trying to think who else is kind of. I mean, you can say Draymond, honestly, because really honestly, I mean, people don't mess around with Draymond. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, necessarily goes at him the way kind of he goes at people. He there's no Ron Artest, out there to contest. No, Steven Jackson to kind of test things, or Matt Barnes to really, let people know. That's one person you don't mess with. People never went at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is like that. Like people were nervous of Derrick. So that is a very good. I kind of want to.
PJ Tucker might just be an imposing figure sitting in the corner. He doesn't put up stats, but
he talks a lot. I don't think he's necessarily that anybody is I'm nervous of you. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett, was an enforcer. He's going to talk crazy to you. He had Melo coming over to their locker room because he said something. There was a physical altercation. Right. So I don't know if there's anybody that is really on that level that will talk crazy to people. Like I said, the only person I can really think of, like I said, is Draymond. Draymond will do some stuff. We've seen Draymond choke multiple people out, and I don't think, outside of him, nobody else really has stepped to that. So I'm going to go with Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond's probably, we've seen him clock his own players in practice. He might be a good one. Even if you don't, quote unquote, I don't want to use respect because I don't think Draymond's a bad guy or anything, but there's guys out there that even if you don't, quote unquote, respect Draymond, you're probably not going to be talking crazy, because we have seen him react to things that are what we would consider minor offenses, and he will turn them into major offenses, and we'll be okay paying a few $1,000s to prove it at the same time. So I think Draymond, if I'm going to crown somebody though, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Jimmy Butler, just because, again, that I use their run that I say we'll never see again. Jimmy Butler is the sole reason for that. So I think he rightfully so still gets to wear that crown. Not statistically the most impressive player, but when he has it going, it's defense, it's offense, it's everything in between. I think Jimmy Butler's that guy. Before we go to break, though, go ahead.
You can say a healthy Kawhi, because when Kawhi was with Toronto, people didn't want to see Kawhi.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I mean, if you're talking about an all-around scorer, a healthy Kawhi would be my choice. People don't talk to him crazy. People don't go at him or anything like that. They kind of sit there and look at him and kind of tremble a little bit. So I'll go with the healthy Kawhi.
That's a good answer too, because that's the one thing people always say. What you first notice when playing Kawhi Leonard is just kind of that intimidation factor. If they notice, he's just incredibly strong. In terms of grip strength, you can't really rip the ball away from him when he puts your shoulder into you, when he's going into the lane. He gets a lot of credit for that. It hurts if you're going to try to body up Kawhi Leonard. You're going to feel it the next day. So that's not a bad pick. I think Kawhi Leonard, and definitely kind of just the silent leader out there, those guys you never really want to mess with. But before we go anywhere, have you happened to catch any of the Lakers Summer League?
No, not much. Haven't been really too much interested, but it's about exactly what I expected. Yeah. Everybody's giving attention to who, and it's not really deserving.
Yeah, Yeah, it's he hasn't been playing great. His first game, I think he only left was like 2 or 4 points, quite a few shots, 0 for 2 from the free throw line to top it off, just to kind of put the cherry on top. Again, I don't think any of us are super surprised that he's the Los Angeles Laker at the 55th pick. What does bother me, though, is why the hell is he sitting out game 2? Now, the reason why, it's knee soreness. And I want to give the benefit of the doubt so bad that, yes, your knee is sore, but it better be really damn sore. I'm so tired of this load management crap. It's summer league. You have a lot to prove. You are not a guy that can already get into the mix of load management, especially if it's just like minor knee soreness. The next game isn't tonight. It's not tomorrow. It's Wednesday. The game was yesterday. That would have gave you 2 full days off the quote-unquote knee soreness, and he's expected to be back Wednesday. So it tells you it really isn't that significant. I don't want to talk about Bronny because he's not the first one to do this, but load management in summer league, are we just kind of completely losing our mind on all this load management BS? Because, again, for Bronny, I think you do have a lot to prove. I don't think you can just take a game off because your knee's a little sore. Now, if it's something serious, I'm just completely wrong, and he's being smart protecting it. But the way I'm reading it, if you know you're going to be back Wednesday, get the hell back out there yesterday. You play another game. You are not at the point where you can just sit back, hang out, because I watched a lot of other rookies. Shout out Bryce McGowan the other day, who dominated against the national Chinese team. He's emerging. But looking at a guy like Bronny, you do need the reps. You need to learn how to play through some of this pain. What are your thoughts on that? Load management in the summer league is what it feels like already.
I mean, it's politics. At the end of the day, they know who they want. They know who they like. And there isn't anything, that's going to stop them from doing that agenda or doing certain things. I mean, it's for a reason. I'm never going to, question necessarily an injury or anything like that. This is the first time I'm hearing of any type of knee soreness from him while playing. So, I mean, it might have happened, during practice or something like that.
Yeah.
But, hopefully, it's for the best and everything like that. But with the management and them going to do stuff, they have agendas. They're going to protect certain players and whatnot. It is what it is. It's not, it's not meant for everybody. Things, can be challenging and unfair. But I mean, the guys out there, there are other teams watching and whatnot. You got to take advantage of, some people not playing or whatnot, because a team can pick you up and put you on, their G League team or whatnot and bring you up, and it could be a better situation for you then and there. So, I mean, as some people may look at it as, oh, well, it sucks. They should make, him do this and da-da-da. It's more opportunities for these other guys who, might have not have had the eyes on them and everything like that. So, I mean, it's probably a blessing in disguise for somebody. So hopefully, they take advantage of their opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. If you're one of those people that's so anti about him being out there, it does open up another spot. But yeah, it is one of those things. I could be just completely in the wrong. It could be some legitimate knee soreness that does deserve the right to take a look at. But I'm just always kind of still disgruntled by the fact that you need as much reps as possible. You need to learn how to become an NBA player, because whether you want it or not, that's going to be the expectation. A lot of people are believing you are that 55th pick, and I would just love to get in front of that pressure. But he will be back Wednesday. So if you missed Bronny in the first game, he will be back Wednesday for that next summer league game. Don't go anywhere, though. We're going to go ahead and throw it to break. Went a little bit long on the first segment. Don't worry. We'll make it up in the other two. We're going to talk some college football. So if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line. Don't go anywhere. We got DeMornay Pierson-El. He'll be streaming in on the next segment. We'll keep it rolling here on Ticket Weeknights.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and white winds. An afternoon high around 84. Tonight, mostly clear with calm conditions and a low around 62. And tomorrow, more sunshine and calm winds with an afternoon high expected around 87. I'm meteorologist Kyle Click for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Have an anniversary coming up? I've got you covered. Celebrate your love with the timeless elegance of jewelry. This anniversary, give the gift of sapphires, emeralds, rubies, or gold. Find the perfect piece that reflects the beauty and depth of your commitment. Whether it's your first anniversary or your 50th, surprise your loved one with a gem as beautiful and rare as she is. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Koppel. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados. Plus, Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now in Louisville. $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at KoppelCars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Good morning, Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, comes to weeknights. We got Good Morning Pierson-El, the host, streaming in 402-464-5685. If you guys want to give your thoughts, as we're going to dive into some college football, feel free to do so. First things first, we got a new coach at Nebraska. Cooper gone. Quick turnaround. I will say this. For how quick of a turnaround it was, I feel good about it. Could have been a lot worse, but it was like almost less than 24 hours. But, of course, Evan Cooper gone. Insert, not Pete Thamel, John Butler. Pete Thamel was the one that leaked it out for everybody on social media. John Butler from the Bills. Last time he was coaching college football would have been Penn State, 2013-14, I believe. Your thoughts? What do you think about the hire, getting John Butler for the secondaries?
I mean, he was on the defense with Leslie Frazier. That's the defensive coordinator for the Bills. They have a top 5 defense. So being with them I think he's with them for a couple of years, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he was.
So just understanding stuff and operating at a high level, you're with a high caliber team. You expect certain things or whatnot. He seems like, a very energized guy that the guys will like and whatnot from the videos that I have seen and him talking and whatnot. So it's definitely a good pickup. You're leaving the pro level and coming back down and help educating, the next level of guys to go into that on an already, solid defense. It sucks to see, Coop leave, but things happen and it is what it is. You got to kind of roll with the punches.
Yeah, it makes me feel good about Matt Rule's contact list. I'll say that much for how quick that was. It just felt like we were. Unfortunately, it feels like Nebraska hits this off-season ramp where everything's on the up, and all of a sudden there's a chunk of the rail missing, and it's a panic, dramatic back down. This felt like it could have been one of those situations. Now it does suck. I think everybody would much rather have to have Cooper back, considering how far we're into this off-season. But what's going to be the challenge for Butler? I mean, he's getting down here late July, mid-July. I shouldn't say late, but is this a real time crunch as camps are starting up here?
No, because we still got Tony. Tony's going to be pretty much handling everything. The toughest part from him is just having him learning, the verbiage and the terminology and everything like that until he kind of gets caught up with things. It's not, I don't think, a bad thing because at the end of the day, football is football. So the kids will know necessarily what to do and whatnot, and he'll have them in the right position. It's just understanding, the calls, understanding the kids, how they kind of play and everything like that, building that chemistry with them. And that's a small piece because, like I said, the DC is still here. So he runs, everything, and I'm pretty sure, he'll take, a huge part of just, being in that room to make sure, guys are fine and situated because everybody else, should be fine, should be under control and whatnot. So from now until, the season starts, I'm pretty sure he'll probably be leading that room until, the coach feels comfortable and to take over with things.
Yeah, knowing John Butler, too, he's definitely not the type of guy that even when he wasn't working, he was working. He's always been attached to it. It's Penn State to the Texans to the Bills, now to Nebraska. What's a harder jump these days? Because now NIL is a real big thing, and it takes up a lot of time. Is it now the jump from college to the NFL, which used to be the case, or is it the NFL back down in college? Because it has been over 10 years now since he's been at the college level.
I would say the jump to the NFL is still probably more difficult. Just because it's a grown man's game. You're dealing with other things and other tangibles or whatnot. There are a bunch of other stuff that comes with the collegiate level and whatnot. But for the most part, you have a safety net. It's not once you get the guys in there and everything like that, ball is ball. They both have pros and cons, but I think once you go to the NFL level, your execution, you being on your P's and Q's are different. I think there's a little bit more leeway in the collegiate level. So I think him coming back down there will be a shock just because of things aren't run how you're used to being on the NFL level, and you have to, now I got to recruit. Now I got to kind of, stroke people's egos left and right or throw out a little bit of money here. And there's things that come with it, but I still think the NFL level is completely different.
Yeah, I think I'm with it. The hardest part is, like you said, is it's going to be the NIL factor of it, because you might, as we had Coach Barry Thompson on, shout out to Chance at Burlington too for joining me during that 6 o'clock hour, is a little bit different where he's going to have to get comfortable with is like there is going to be that number. Say if he's recruiting somebody, the parents might ask like, hey, what are you thinking financially? The school's going to give us this. Used to have a GM to refer to. Now he's going to have a little bit of understanding on what that looks like. But officially partnering with 1890. So now, maybe they can give us some spreadsheets to the coaches on what they have to actually offer. Just where we're at in the game now, whether you like it or hate it. Like you have to have that information, because that is probably going to be a question that is asked by said parent or said athlete, especially if they're in that 5-star range, because that's just what's being offered to them. Speaking of recruiting, though, this came up today. This one, bit surprising, maybe not so much if you kind of know their history with NFL talent. But in terms of states that are dominating in future NFL talent, there's one state that, in terms of population, sticks well above the rest. And it's a Midwestern state. I'll let you take a wild swing at which state that is. Per 1 million athletes, X amount become NFL players. I don't want to ask you for the number, but I'll ask you which state
is Texas considered the Midwest?
You can throw them in the Midwest if you want. I'll let you.
So it's not Texas.
No.
Okay.
Texas is surprising as well.
I would say Illinois or Missouri, probably.
Think about all those tight ends. Iowa, as much as it kills me to say,
at one position.
Doesn't matter. 12.6 NFL players per million. That beats the likes of, just for a reference, Alabama's 12.7, Georgia's 12.6. Mississippi 14.5, and Louisiana.
They just been dominant at one position though. Like that offensive lineman, and I would say their DBs typically do well with getting drafted or whatnot. But you can't. Let's look at Mizzou. Let's look at who Mizzou has put in the NFL. Like, come on. Like, are you just ranking on how many first rounders you are at one position?
It's just NFL talent per 100.
That's crazy. Well, I mean,
what it is. What a position or not.
You got probably you got 3 top 10, maybe 4 top 10 tight ends that came from that school.
Yeah, and there's a lot on the defensive side, offensive linemen. They kind of got a lot of that blue chip O linemen as well. They're kind of like Wisconsin in that factor. They'll get a bunch of those guys. But yeah, Iowa, they're up there. What is surprising though, you asked about Texas. Nebraska beats Texas. Nebraska ranking higher than Texas at 6.2, Texas at 6 flat, which is crazy to think about, because when you think of the state of Texas, you think of IMG. Feels like Texas should be one of the most dominant. Does that surprise you at all to see Texas even worse off than Nebraska? Now, given it's per million, you have a generational group of athletes. You can swing that number pretty wildly. But as it sits right now, Nebraska, quote unquote, is better per million.
No, because if you take Texas is a bigger state. So let's look at how many athletes actually leave the state of Texas to go play at another school. That would kind of be, unfair. Texas hasn't really been as successful as of lately, as like how they've been. They're not really known.
Real quick, it is per residence of the state, so not the school they went to. It's per resident of that state.
I mean, it's not necessarily. I don't think it's shocking. Like I said, it's
there's more interest in Texas. I'll give you that. You might go basketball. You could even go on the tennis team, baseball team. Iowa, Nebraska, little different. We're not the basketball guru up here in the Midwest. We're not the hockey guru. We're not the water polo. It's football, and it's football. I mean, that's kind of the Big Ten brand. That's why the Big Ten is what it is. It's the Midwest loves football. And I think that's a big part of it. Is like you just get, a bunch of athletes inspired to play the same sport. Because if you're going to look at basketball numbers, there's going to be states like Illinois, they would stick out. Chicago, it's going to stick out. You go to California, it'll stick out. Like that's where I think
North Carolina, like it's there are hot spots for certain sports.
Yeah, and I think that's where the Midwest in the Big Ten kind of sells itself as a whole. Is it's obviously the Big Ten's built on just the love of football around it, and a lot of that coming directly from the Midwest. With that being said, though, we'll throw it to our last break here. On the other side, want to talk a little bit more Husker news. This one not related to football, but one of our most famous Nebraska basketball guards we've had come through here in a very long time. So don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling. Don't Punt Hour with the morning Pierson-El, the host as always. We'll talk to you in just a little bit.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Your weather this spring and summer.
Tell me about it. My roof is in shambles. The side of my house has hail damage, and I don't have time to deal with insurance companies right now.
Wait, Rico, you haven't talked to my guys at Coalition Restoration yet? They deal with commercial and residential roofing services, hail damage, and best of all, they'll work with the insurance companies to make your life easier.
Okay, what's the first step?
All you got to do is give them a call today for a free assessment at 402-416-8186. Coalition Restoration in Lincoln and online at coalitionrestoration.com.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Soulful Casino in Havelock is a family-owned business, providing incredible food and service that'll have you craving more with every bite. Soulful Casino offers everything from pulled pork to fried chicken, catfish, ribs, and even quesadillas. You want sides? They've got them. From fries, green beans and baked beans, to collard greens, potato salad, and sweet dill corn. Stop by for lunch as they have specials Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. That's Soulful Casino, located in Havelock, where every bite you take fills the soul.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Prodigy Baseball Academy, Lincoln's premier baseball program, is excited to partner with the #1 national youth and high school program to offer a larger player development program with a national network for tournaments and recruiting. Prodigy Baseball has been nominated several years by the Lincoln Choice Awards for outstanding dedication to youth baseball. Come see the USA Prime Prodigy difference. For a full listing of tryouts and to learn more about USA Prime Prodigy, check them out on Facebook at Lincoln Prodigy Baseball or at LincolnProdigyBaseball.com. USA Prime Prodigy is excited to announce the tryouts for the upcoming season. Prodigy Baseball is where players in Lincoln go to receive player development, a competitive tournament schedule, and incredible family atmosphere. USA Prime Prodigy will be hosting tryouts July 14th through the 16th at 6 p.m. at Optimus Sports Complex for ages 7 to 14. Jalen Wordley, Caleb Clark, and Mason McConaughey from Husker Baseball will be there to sign autographs and talk to the youth. Tryouts start on July 14th at 6 p.m. Learn more at LincolnProductBaseball.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Don't Punt Hour before we get ready with What's Brewing with Chance of Brewington. He'll be up next for that 8 o'clock hour. But a few things. I just want to get this rant off. We had a very famous social media, call it basketball star, whatever you want to, Cam Wilder. He came down to Nebraska, quote unquote, was supposed to be a park takeover. Just was an absolute disaster. Clear. I shouldn't say a disaster. A lot of people came out, but clear the damn courts. I don't know if you caught that on social media, but it was supposed to be a park takeover. They maybe got one small 2-minute run in before the entire court was crowded. It just was unfortunate because it was a big thing. Tried to set it up. So if that happens, just clear the courts. Just stay on the sidelines. Do not just stand all up in the middle of the court. So the guys there can actually play basketball for our entertainment. That's my quick rant on that. If you saw it on social media, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Could have been really cool, and I'm just frustrated that it wasn't. But K-State Tamanaga picked up by the Indiana Pacers. Do you see K-State Tamanaga sticking it out? Does this work in the NBA for him? I mean, shooting-wise, it's no question, but can he do enough defensively?
I don't want to say it's a long shot, but it's a steep hill to climb. He's a high energy guy. He just has to be consistent. If he's consistent, then yes, he can stay. He just can't have, the ups and downs, kind of how he was kind of at in college. You kind of gotta, always be on, especially in a position kind of that he's kind of in. So hopefully, he does. But I mean, it's not easy. You're an undersized guard. You shoot like Curry. They're not saying you're shooting. You're shooting better than him, and you're not as consistent as him. So, it like I said, it's a tall hill to climb. But as long as he stay more consistently than not, he should have a pretty good shot.
Yeah, there's going to be some key matchups where he might be able to get his run in. If they, like you said, defensively, it's going to take some time until they can really trust him out there. Just being undersized. The same thing Bronny's going to have to try to work through, and Bronny's even more athletic, sitting at 6'1", K-State Tamanaga, right about the same height there. So I think he's got a shot. Now, it's going to, obviously, how good is your three-point ball? Is it consistent? Is it what it's sold to be? Because that's going to be his money. Any undersized guard, I mean, that tends to be what it is. But he's got a chance. I think the Pacers, that's a really good fit too, because he's got some good ball handlers that can kind of feed him. Tyrese Halliburton. I like the idea of those two working together, but got to feel good. I mean, Nebraska basketball, he gets picked up. I know Sam Griesel, I think he's playing in Germany, but who knows if he gets another shot. You look at Delano Banton, Bryce McGowan's. There's a lot of former Huskers in the NBA world that are really starting to make their mark. So hopefully Keisei Tominaga is that next chapter for the future of Husker basketball in the NBA as he's with the Indiana Pacers. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Shout out to Morning Pierson-El on time as always for the Don't Punt Hour, but don't go anywhere. Chance Brewington's back for the 8 o'clock hour. What's Brewing with Chancellor? Don't go anywhere. We'll keep her rolling on Take a Weeknights.